Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become.
Well, good morning, everyone, on this thankful Thursday morning. I'm certainly delighted that you've joined in with us this morning. You've connected with us here on Morning Mocha. while we're giving people just a little bit more time to get logged on, take the time to send the link to someone that you love, someone that you know will benefit from what's being shared on this platform. Please send them or invite them to our Dr. Tony D. Cobbins YouTube channel link. I know it's going to be a great blessing for those who join us. I hope you all are doing well today. I hope you've had a wonderful week thus far. We're coming are rapidly approaching the end of our week. I think it's been a good week. It's been a great week for me. It's not over, but we have one more day to go. But it's been wonderful to this point, and I hope you feel the same way. We're not going to delay the time a great deal. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that as we move forward in the future with our morning mocha, we're going to be really kind of jumping right into what we want to talk about. So it's imperative that when you get the notification that you log in, get on as soon as possible. As you all can see, we're no longer playing the music that we played before, giving people more time to get logged on. But we want you all to jump on there when you get the notification. Don't hesitate. Don't just wait until you feel like the music is no longer being played, because some of you would wait until you thought the music was over and then you would come on. If you continue to do that, you're probably going to miss part of the first part of the discussion, because I want to get right in. My schedule is starting to fill up and things are starting to pile up on me. And so I want to make the best and the most of my time and be able to spend the time with you that will certainly benefit you. Also, while I'm sharing with you, I want to remind you that one-on-one life coaching is available. All you have to do is go to my website, theshepherd1.com, and click on the information tabs and send me an email. Drop me an email. Let me know that you're interested in engaging our coaching services. I guarantee you that the coaching services will benefit you greatly. Even if you think that you got it all together, there may be some areas in your life that you may feel just a little bit stuck and you need that extra little push to get you on over the hump. Life coaching can be that push, that very push you need. I can't tell you the numbers of people that I've already been able to help and how happy they are with regards to the results they have experienced from going through our coaching program, engaging our services. And I know it will benefit you. This morning, I want to talk to you about your happiness or lack thereof. That's a subject to consider, isn't it? Especially during these times that we're going through right now. People are just, discombobulated. Sometimes people feel like they don't know whether they're going or coming, and it's affecting how they feel about life. Some people's happiness is being severely affected during these trying times. But I want to assure you that if you're one of those people who feel as though your happiness has been truly or severely affected, that you can overcome that. There is hope for you. I believe it's safe to say that every one of us have at one time or another talked about wanting to be happy. If you haven't, you might not be human. All of us have expressed our desires to be happy as though it is our ultimate quest in life. It's the thing that we all are in hot pursuit of. I want to be happy. And some of us are grasping at just about anything that we believe can bring us happy. But this thing that we call happy has gotten many of you tripped up. Many of you are in pursuit of something that you can't even describe. And if you can't describe it, how do you know when you have it? Now, that may sound strange, but believe it or not, I have talked to a number of people, and when I've asked them about their state of happiness, they haven't been able to describe uh, what happiness is for them. And so, again, since they can't describe it, apparently, uh, they really won't know when they truly have it. Now, contrary to popular belief, I'm convinced that happy is more than just a feeling. I believe that being happy is a state of existence. It's not temporary, it's not momentary, but I believe that we continuously live in happiness if we are truly happy. Now, I know that for some people, happiness can be influenced by the ebbs and flows of life. Okay, and I understand that. I've heard people declare that happiness is often determined by what is happening. Now, it may have a little bit of influence, but what's happening at any given time shouldn't be the ultimate factor that determines whether or not you are living a happy life. Happy is a relevant term. Happy is a term that is subject to an individual's personal perception. So, what I'm saying there is you actually determine what happiness looks like for you. Now, throughout this discussion, I'm going to challenge you to consider a series of questions that I hope will cause you to gain a fuller perspective of what it means for you to be happy. And each one of these questions I'm going to post up on the screen. So as we go through them, you can write them down and give careful consideration to them. Some of these questions you won't be able to answer immediately. You're going to have to give it some careful thought and consideration. And one of the reasons why I want you to write these things down, write these questions down, is because at some time during the day, whether it be today, tomorrow, or maybe you should do this on a daily basis, I want you to go back and review these questions and give each one of these questions very careful consideration and answer these questions honestly. Because if you don't answer the questions honestly, you'll never discover the true answers, and you'll never discover or attain exactly what you're looking for. So let's start with these questions that I've got lined up for you today. And let me warn you that there are 15 questions that I'm going to be asking. And all of them are going to be dealing with your happiness or lack thereof. Here's question number 1. Are you not happy? Are you not happy? Now, some of us can pop off a quick yes or a quick no, but some of us actually have to think about it. Think about your present state of existence. Think about, and again, while it's not just about your feelings or your emotions, but your feelings and emotions have something to do with it. They play a role in you determining whether or not you are happy. Think about how you feel most of the day, most any day. How do you wake up feeling? How do you feel during the middle of the day? How do you end your day feeling? Are you upbeat or are you always down and out? When you answer those questions, then you might come to a conclusion about whether or not you are happy. And if you're not happy, question number 2 is, why aren't you happy? That's a question. Because believe it or not, there are people who are not happy, but don't even know why they are not happy. You ask them, why aren't you happy? And their answer is either, I don't know, or I'm just not happy. Well, I'm just not happy is not an answer to why you're not happy. Okay, we understand. We get it that you're not happy. But I believe that for you not to be happy, there has to be a reason, and you ought to know better than anybody why you are not happy. If you're not happy, the third question I want you to consider is, how long have you been unhappy? Now, in order to arrive at the conclusion of or determine how long you've been unhappy, you've got to go back to a time in life where you felt happy. Or let me put it like this, you at least felt happier than what you feel now. And again, it's not just a temporary feeling, it is a state of existence. Let me plug this in here real quick. I believe that we all have the ability to set the atmosphere around us to make it conducive for happiness. But again, all of us probably, if you are feeling as though you're not happy right now, you're not happy in life, you're not happy with what's going on or whatever, then go back to that time. Try to remember the times when you were happy or you felt as though you were happy, and begin to think about what was going on, what was taking place when you thought yourself to be a happy individual. Now, that's very important because, believe it or not, some people have actually forgotten what it really feels like to be happy. And that's one of the reasons why they're unhappy, but they don't know why they're unhappy. The next question I think you need to contemplate is, what are you unhappy about? Now, that might be somewhat married to why aren't you happy, but more specifically, what are you unhappy about? What is it? What is it? What is that thing that's nagging you, that's keeping you from experiencing happiness? I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself, but again, I want you to be able to contemplate all of these questions. And it may sound like I'm asking the same question in a different way, but sometimes that's necessary to get to the root or the heart of what's really going on with you emotionally, what's causing you to feel the way that you are feeling. So what are you unhappy about? Is it your living conditions? Is it your job? Is it your social life or lack thereof? Exactly what is it that you're unhappy about? The next question I think you need to contemplate is, who are you unhappy with? Wow. Because that certainly plays a major role in the happiness or the lack thereof with regards to a lot of people. And again, you can trace some of these unhappy feelings with people to times, places, incidents, occurrences, however you want to label it. But there are things that have happened or occurred with people that have caused us to be unhappy with certain people. Now, here's the sad part about it. If you are unhappy with a person, it's sad if you're allowing that one individual or those 2 or 3 or 4 individuals to dominate your life to the degree that you've been totally robbed of your happiness simply because you're feeling some kind of way about certain people. And it goes back again. Let me reconnect it back with one of the other questions. If you're unhappy with someone, why are you unhappy with them? How long have you been unhappy with that individual? And what are you unhappy with them about? These all connect together. But I think it's so important that we unpack each one of these questions and deal with them individually and honestly and thoroughly so that you might get to the root of your issue. The sixth question I want you to consider is, what's keeping you from being happy? Now, I want you to think about that one in this moment for a little while. Just allow that question to soak in. What's really keeping you from being happy? Now, if you can, in this moment, I want you to jot down something real quickly that you actually believe is keeping you from being happy. The next question, it seems similar, but the focus is just a little bit different, and that is, who's keeping you from being happy? Sometimes there's a what, but then sometimes you believe or you've convinced yourself that there is a who. And so instead of being angry with the entire world, you need to narrow the thing down and determine who it is that you believe is keeping you from being happy. And you need to analyze how it is that person is keeping you from being happy and start to deal with it. I often talk to you about processing things, properly processing things. And some people are reluctant to process certain things because as you begin to process and analyze things, there are some harsh realities that are going to hit you in the face. And when those harsh realities start to hit you in the face, they can make you feel a little bit, small, a little bit dumb, for lack of a better term. I know I've had times when I really thought about something, I said, really, this is dumb. Why in the world am I allowing this to affect me in this way? And so again, it's important that you deal with each one of these questions thoroughly, process it, work through it, get to the root of the matter. The next question number 8, how long do you intend to remain unhappy? Now, you, believe it or not, are in control of your happiness. You are in total control of your happiness. Let me go back up to question 7. Who's keeping you unhappy rather? Now, in that question, you realize that sometimes you're playing the blame game, okay? And you're saying, this person or that person or the other person, they're the reason why I'm not happy, okay? So if you've given them that kind of power in your life to make you feel as though you're not happy, let's go back to question number 8, then how long are you going to remain unhappy? How long are you going to allow someone else to have that kind of power and authority and influence in your life wherein they can keep you constantly in a state of unhappiness? Let me tell you the big mistake that you're making right there is that you're looking for someone else to make you happy. That's a mistake. You're expecting someone else to make you happy. Why have you given them that kind of influence or authority? And you know what? The sad part is that many people who blame others for their unhappiness, they already know that the individual is not that concerned with their well-being. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a parent. It could be a sibling. It could be a spouse. It could be another relative. It could be a friend. It could be a coworker. You already don't know. You already know that they're not concerned with your emotional well-being. But yet, for some reason or another, you just feel as though that you need to remain connected to them, and you seek those individuals out, expecting them to somehow make you happy. Well, if you're unhappy with that individual, if you're unhappy with how that individual treats you, if you're unhappy about the fact that although you show that individual love and respect, that love and respect is never reciprocated, if that's what you're unhappy about, then how long do you intend to allow yourself to remain unhappy? I mean, think about it. I know some of you have probably never allowed these questions to cross your mind. The next question I believe is important to ask is, do you believe you can ever be happy? And that's a question that must be answered, because some people have convinced themselves that they will never be happy. One of the reasons why some of you have convinced yourself that you'll never be happy is because you've attached your happiness to external or material things. Or you've attached your happiness to you being placed in a certain position and having certain conditions and expectations met all the time. Well, I have a news flash for you. Life isn't like that. Life doesn't always perfectly line up in a way that it ensures your happiness. Life doesn't work that way all the time. And know that not only does life not work that way, but people don't work that way. People don't operate like that. You keep in mind that people are subject to change any given time, any given moment. People can treat you one day in this moment and treat you one way rather in this moment and treat you totally differently moments later, just moments later. People will flip on you. And the moment you start receiving treatment that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's when you find yourself being thrown into a state of unhappiness. It simply messes up your entire existence. And I'm just one who believes that that kind of thing shouldn't happen. I know all of us have probably gone through that type of situation. Many of us at one time, we allowed those things to occur that way because we didn't know any better. But I'm of the conviction that when you know better, you ought to do better. And I've decided for myself that I'm not going to remain in a state of unhappiness for extended periods of time. And I am convinced that I can be happy and that I am determined to be happy. The next question that I think is important for you to consider is, what does happiness even look like for you? I'm not talking about what it looks like for the next person. It's important that you decide what happiness looks like for you. I've heard on many occasions people have expressed when they've been able to peep into the lives of certain people, couples in particular, or that wholesome American family that we perceive to be the wholesome American family, I've heard people express, oh, they seem to be so happy. I've heard people express, I wish I had what they have, because they seem to be so happy. And that's not a good, it's not always a good measure or a good way to decide what happiness would look like for you. Because if you want what you think they have, then you may have to do what they do to get what you think they do have. And while you're in pursuit of getting and doing, you might discover that what they did or what they are doing doesn't bring you the happiness that you thought it would. So it's important, it is even imperative that you decide for yourself what happiness looks like for you. There are things, material things, that make some people absolutely happy, while the next person could care less about the things that make someone else happy, or rather, they couldn't care less. They care about as much as they're going to care about the things that are making other people happy, such as cars and houses and clothing and all that. Some people, they just don't care about those things. Those are not the things that make them happy. Some of you have said to yourself, well, if I had this amount of money or that amount of money, then I know I would be happy. You don't know that. You absolutely do not know that for sure. As a matter of fact, the rule of thumb is more money will just make you more of what you already are. Let that soak in. Now, some of you might say, well, I don't see how that can be. I tell you what. Let your job give you a $25,000 a year raise, and see how much happier you're going to be in life. I mean, change nothing else. Don't change anything else. Just get that financial increase on an annual basis, and see how much more happy you're going to be a year or two after the thrill of that raise has somewhat worn off. One of the reasons why you might only be happy temporarily when you get that raise is because at some point that raise is not going to be enough. At some point, you're going to feel like that you need to be making even more. If you don't change anything, number one, you're not going to change how you manage your money. And if you don't change how you manage your money, you're going to fall into a deeper state of unhappiness, because you're going to have more but be able to do less. That's what happens when mismanagement occurs. You might get more, but you're able to do less because you haven't changed how you've managed anything. So the money in and of itself can't make you happy. And that's the reason why, again, you have to really determine what happiness looks like for you. If you're not into clothing, then why go fill your closet up with a bunch of designer clothes just because you know the next person has it? Well, Dr. Cobbins, they look happy with all those clothes. Sometimes they may look happy, but they're not as happy as they appear. Everything that glitters not gold. Everybody grinning ain't necessarily happy. Let's move on to the next question. Next question I think you ought to consider is, what will it take to make you happy? And again, I will say it again. A lot of people's response is, well, I don't know. It's something to make me happy. That's not very definitive. In your pursuit of happiness, you ought to at least know what you're pursuing. That way, when you get what you're pursuing, then you'll know what happiness feels like. You'll know what it looks like. You'll know what it looks like for you. And let me encourage you not to allow someone else define what happiness should look like for you. There'll be people that will walk into your life. They'll sense your unhappiness, and they'll look at the things that you possess and your state of existence, such as you're married, you got a husband, you got children, you got family, you got this, you got that, and they'll tell you, well, you should be happy. Now, please understand, being grateful and being happy are two different things. Some people are not happy because they're not grateful. But then some people are not grateful because they're not happy. Those are two different things. And you got to be careful when it comes to allowing people to make assessments of your life and try to tell you how you should feel in any given situation. Well, that may be okay for them, but you are not them. You are an entirely different individual. And you ought to wear your uniqueness and live in your uniqueness. You ought to own your uniqueness. Be who you are, and don't allow anyone to pressure you into being someone else. And the next question here, question number 12. Who's responsible for your happiness? Write it down. Contemplate it. Think about it. Consider it. Now, if you already have a name in mind, write that name beside that question as your answer. Who's responsible for your happiness? I'll give you a hint. The name should, for you, it should start with an M and end with an E. And only let that be Melanie if that's your name, or Mike if that's your name. Okay? Or from my perspective, it ought to start with a Y and end with a U, and I'm talking about you now. Listen, you gotta come to grips with the fact that you are responsible for your own happiness. There are many marriages that have been totally dismantled because one or both spouses in the marriage are holding the other person responsible for their happiness. How many times have I heard it? I can't tell you the number of times I've heard married couples say, well, she doesn't make me happy anymore. He doesn't make me happy anymore. I don't feel happy because they don't make me happy. Well, newsflash, they're not responsible for your happiness. I know I'm making some people uncomfortable right now. Lady Ann is not responsible for making me happy. I'm responsible for keeping myself happy. Listen, we may do things every now and then to irritate one another, but it shouldn't determine whether or not we are happy. We may not be happy with one another at certain given times when certain things happen, but what I do, what she does shouldn't totally wreck my happiness, and what I do shouldn't totally wreck hers. Not responsible for it. Neither of us are responsible for one another's happiness. But we can enjoy happiness together, especially when we come to understand that each of us are responsible for our own happiness. Can I tell you, that's the reason why everybody needs a little me time every now and then. Where you can download, you can rest and relax and just take care of you. Do the things that you enjoy. Now, I'm not saying that this should be constantly ongoing where you're excluding your spouse from your life altogether. No, I'm not suggesting that at all. As a matter of fact, you definitely, if you're married, if you have a husband or a wife, you definitely need to set some time wherein you are enjoying one another and you're feeding off of one another's happiness. When you feed off of one another's happiness, it just makes your happiness that much more full. Does that make sense? Oh, I'm quite sure it does. Question number 13. What price are you willing to pay for your happiness? Wow. It's going to cost you something. If you truly want to live in a constant state of happiness, it's going to cost you something. And that's not a bad thing. But you must be willing to pay the price for happiness. What are you willing to pay? And this kind of ties in with the next question here, question number 14. I want to kind of deal with these kind of together simultaneously, if you would. What do you need to change to find happiness? See, that's one of the prices that you at times have to pay in order to find the happiness you desire. And sometimes what you need to change first and foremost is your thinking. You need to change your mentality. Some of you are making yourself unhappy by the things you're constantly thinking about, the things that you are worrying about. And you're worrying about things that you really have no power to actually change. Some things you have to look at it as though, well, it is what it is. But I'm not going to allow this to throw such a wrench into my life that it destroys or robs me of my happiness. Got to change your thinking. Instead of always pronouncing doom and gloom over your situations, sometimes you have to look at your situation and say, you know what, this is not as bad as I've been making it out to be. I need to stop making mountains out of molehills. Stop magnifying things that are really minute. Just change your thinking. Man, one of the things that I've learned to declare and really mean it is that about certain things I've learned to say, well, you know what? I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't have the time nor the energy to worry about things as trivial as that type of situation. So what do you need to change? You need to change your mind, your thinking. Do you need to change your circles of influence? Wow. Because depending on who you hang out with and what you're doing at any given time, certain things can pull you down if you allow it to. And here's the last question. And this is the ultimate question. When will you decide to just be happy? Wow. When will you decide to just be happy? It's your decision. Sometimes you just have to say, I'm going to be happy. I choose to be happy. Some of you who have started your day off rough today, you ought to be declaring right now that, you know what, the rest of this day, I'm going to be happy. I'm choosing to be happy. That's what you need to do. Declare it. And not only just speak it, make it happen. Make it happen. You are in control of your life. You are. Stop allowing everybody else and everything else to have control over or to determine whether or not you're going to be happy. You know, you can remain happy if you just learn how to make some adjustments. Sometimes you have to learn how to adjust on the fly. Well, I may not have this anymore, but I'm still happy. I may not have that anymore, but I'm still happy. This may have changed, but I'm choosing to be happy. You gotta believe in your power and ability to make some things happen for you. It is a choice. It is your choice. Own it. Walk in it. Make that determination. Refuse not to be happy. In other words, say, I'm going to be happy whether I like it or not. Oh my gosh. It may sound a little bit crazy, you know, that may sound a little bit crazy, but that's the kind of determination that you need to have with regards to your happiness. Become determined that happiness is not just going to be a temporary feeling, a momentary feeling, but you're going to create that state of existence. You know when I feel happiest, when I feel like I'm contributing to someone else's happiness. It's a great feeling. When I feel like that I'm contributing, I didn't say when I feel like I'm making someone else happy, because again, that's up to them. We can't make people happy, but we can contribute to them being happy. We can do little things that will bring them joy, that they'll appreciate. You know, I've been accused of something for the past now 26 years. It'll officially be 26 years in June. Okay. Y'all know what I've been accused of? I've been accused of spoiling Lady Ann. That's what I've been accused of. And guess what? Guilty as charged. My mother-in-law tells me that all the time. She said, you just got her spoiled. Sometimes my brother-in-laws and sister-in-law, they tell me, you know, you got sis spoiled. My siblings will tell me, you got sis spoiled. She's spoiled. And guess what? Guilty as charged. And I have enjoyed every minute of it. I'm telling you the truth. If Lady Ann talks too much about anything, I mean, you know what? I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm in too deep now. Sometimes I be trying to be all tough. She says she wants something. I'll be like, no, we're not doing that. I be firm. I put my foot down and say, no, you're not getting that. And I stand solid for at least 15 minutes. I'm just confessing. No, if I know she really wants something and it's within my power to get it for her, and I know that it will contribute to her happiness, then I'm obliged to do it for her. And it gives me such a great feeling. Such a great feeling. Amen, amen, amen. Now, while I'm saying that, I've got to make this confession that I am a bit spoiled myself, and Lady Ann has been responsible for that as well. She contributes to my happiness. Now, it's good to have people around you, not expecting them to make you happy, but at least to contribute to your happiness. But more importantly, and this is where I've been going the whole time, if you're not happy and you know it, let me say this before I finish this up. When I was thinking about this discussion and wanted to share it with you, I kind of traveled back to my childhood. And many of you probably remember this little tune that we used to sing. And it says, if you're happy and you know it, say amen. And we used to sing this. And then we go, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, stomp your feet, nod your head, turn around, say amen. All of that, indicating that we were happy. But I just want to flip it a little bit. And again, say, if you're not happy and you know it, then it's up to you to do something about it. Think about that. Hey, listen, I hope you took the time to jot down those questions, to write them down. Keep them in a place where you can access them at any time. As a matter of fact, it might be a good thing that if you wrote them down on paper, that you copy them and record them in your phone. Okay. That way you can go back and review those questions and really take the time to consider those questions, especially when you get to the question that challenges you to ask, who is responsible for my happiness? Remember that you're responsible. And that's a good thing. You be in control of your happiness. Because when you're in control of it, when you own it, when you got it on lock, no one can take it away from you. No one. Absolutely no one can destroy your happiness unless you allow them to. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope this has been a blessing to you. I hope you've benefited from it. Are y'all all right? Are y'all good? Praise God. All right. Well, until tomorrow morning, the same time on this same channel, my desire is that you have a blessed, wonderful, and even prosperous rest of your day. God bless.